Okay, good day, class. So, this is a recorded session for your question document examination. So, by the time you have seen this has already been posted in the LMS and also in my YouTube account. So, let's start first with the discussion of the definitions for question documents examination. So, first, let's try to elaborate what is the meaning of forensic science. So, forensic science is the application of scientific techniques, of course. When we say scientific techniques, meron niyang sinusunod na proseso. And also, when it is scientific, it first starts with a problem, of course, a hypothesis in which you need to provide data or facts in order to solve yung main problem. Yan. In order to develop your hypothesis and then come up with a conclusion. Yan, or a recommendation. So, forensic science, application of scientific techniques and principles with the use or application of those in order to provide evidence to legal or any other related function which is for court presentation or for legal purposes. Yan. Kasi when we say forensic, forensic, it came from the word forensos. Yan, forensos, which basically means a forum. And of course, sa korte, it is a public forum in which it does not only limit the viewing of it, ang public pwedeng makaalam about a certain case which is subsequently a question of law. Yan, or a question of action which is related to a violation of law. So when we say forensic science, it is defined as the science as it pertains to legal problems. It needs to provide evidence with the use of scientific techniques and for the purpose of court presentation. 'Di ba yung mga ebidensya na nakakalap sa crime scene, it is then passed on for laboratory examinations or for further examination yan, and investigation. And then once the trial would start, it would be presented in court as exhibits. Okay? So, that is forensic science. The thing is, yung ibang mga fields of sciences related to criminal investigation, hindi naman lahat ng nag-a-apply ng mga techniques are graduates of science-based na mga courses. Yan, or yung mga sciences degree. That's why sa ating program sa criminology, it is part also of science. Yan, Bachelor of Science in Criminology. Because we also use applied science and not just a single field, but multiple fields of sciences which is needed to solve cases. Yan, it is needed in order to know the truth and provide facts. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa forensic science. Let's go on to criminalistics. So, criminalistics, itong subject natin is part ng subject matter under criminalistics. When we say criminalistics, yan yung application ng forensic science sa criminal matters, or for more proper definition, it is the application of forensic science and its methods to criminal investigation. Kasi yung mga siyensya, mga applied sciences, which is of course, pwede nating gamitin yung mga nakalap for court presentation. Well, it is basically to elucidate problems regarding to violation of law or yung criminal investigation. Yeah. So, the use of scientific testing, of course, nagsimula yan sa proper collection and proper handling of evidence. Once it has been subjected to a laboratory examination and being tested, yung results nyon would then be shared or would be exhibited to court by the expert witness, which is yung examiner. Sa korte, when a police officer who is from the laboratory or yung crime laboratory ng kapulisan or ng law enforcement, once they are designated as expert witness, they would not be telling kung yung suspect or yung respondent sa korte, hindi niya sasabihin na or ituturo na siya yung may gawa. Because an expert witness would only be able or would be limited to talk about or to tell the scientific basis or yung scientific na conclusions during laboratory examination. Because the expert witness is only limited to his expertise. Hindi niya pwedeng sabihin na, oh, ito yung resulta ng laboratory examination, siya po ang may sala. That is not allowed. Yung statement na yun, eh, hindi tatanggapin ng West. The judge will not accept it and it would be somehow stricken off the record. Because an expert witness is only limited to the scientific process and yung scientific na conclusion. And he would share it, yan sasabihin niya on trial para mas malaman yung katotohanan with a certain violation. So because the question document examination is part of those forensic sciences under criminalistics, so it could also be easily relatable to the term forensic document examination. So it is originating from the United States of America, yung term na forensic document examination. Kasi nung panahon na nagsisimula pa lang lumakas ang bansang Amerika around late 1800s to the start ng 20th century, yan, 1900s, they wanted to protect their citizens and also protect the government from those people who would want to try and outsmart the government by virtue of altering or yung pinipeke nila yung mga public documents. That's why they created the term forensic document examination. In-examine nila yung document which is somewhat creating a question to people and the results and the conclusion would be then exhibited for court purposes. Yan. The application of document examination for the purposes which are basically legal in nature. Yan. And of course, most part of it is criminal in nature. Kasi yung forensic document examination, pwede civil case, pwede yung sa atin administrative case against public officials, but most of it, merong question about its legality. Yan. Question of its legality by virtue of whether it is violating a criminal law or not. Yan. So, forensic document examination includes yung handwriting, typewriting, yung authenticity ng mga pirma, or whether or not merong alterations o pagbago sa mga symbols, mga letters, and numbers sa isang document. It does not only tackle about that, pati na rin yung type and color ng mga inks at papers na ginamit. Yan. So it's not just about the product, yung symbols, letters, and numbers, but also the type and kind of paper used and the ink and its source. Anong kulay ng ink? Ano yung viscosity ng ink? Yan. Sino bang manufacturer ng ink na ginamit sa ballpen or sign pen? Yan. Also, yung reproduction process ng nasabing document. Like for example, sa pagkakaroon ng land titles or yung pagpipirma na ng mga titulo or last wills and testaments. Most, if not all, of those who will try to create a last will and testament or even a yung partnership sa corporation, yan, yung mga documents nila, yung parang contract nila, mapapansin nyo na each participant, yan, for example, sa partnership ng isang company, they would sign the same document, lahat ng mga incorporators, and then, yung document na isa, meron pang mga copy, which are signed during the same time or at the same time. Yan. So, both of those papers would then be subjected to a forensic document examination once it comes into a question. Yan. So, yung forensic document examination, para mas maging madali, they call it question document examination. Kasi, all in all, it will be questioned or be brought up to court. Yan. Or for short, QD yan. Question documents. Okay? So, meron yung mga subfields. Yan. Handwriting examination, handwriting analysis. Yan. Pero yung handwriting analysis is different from yung term na graphology. Handwriting analysis, it analyzes the handwriting of a certain individual at yung characteristics ng kanyang pagsusulat o yung method of writing. While sa graphology, it is the study of handwriting to identify the personality ng writer or his traits. Yan, handwriting analysis, merely the method of handwriting. Yan, or kung meron ba siyang tremors, na kung mangurog ba na siya magsulat, or yung type ng font na ginagamit niya sa pagsusulat, that is handwriting analysis or handwriting examination. But again, with graphology, it identifies the writer's personality traits. Yan. But in forensic document examination or yung QD sa atin, hindi masyado ginagamit yung personality identification or yung graphology. It is not really the major work or yung majority ng trabaho ng isang forensic document examiner, hindi masyado bumabase or gumagamit ng graphology. So, question document examination, it basically answers different questions. Yan. Kung authentic ba or original ba yung document na in question? Was there any additions or any obliterations or removal of some symbols, letters, na nasa document. Yan. Or yung handwriting ba na nasa document, is it the same or different with another question or disputed document? Yan. So, yung mga questions na yun, is it altered? Can the altered symbol be able to be retrieved or ma-recover ba yung original ng document? Yan. Or is the document being signed at a certain period done with freedom or meron isang taong somehow ginapugos or ini-intimidate yung writer. Yan. Because when a person is intimidated by another person to sign or write a letter, nag-iiba yung letters. Somewhat merong mga maliliit or miniature na mga characteristics which most of it are not visible to a person's eye na hindi naman siya trained. So yung mga trained na QD experts might decipher or might know the difference between the original and yung pagsusulat na may freedom compared to a person's handwriting which is done with pressure. So sa handwriting or sa question document examination, handwriting basically is the main name of the game, but also there are other examinations sa QD na ginagawa din ng mga question document examiners. Yan, handwriting and signature comparisons. So for short, yung estilo ng pagsusulat at yung difference ng pagsusulat. Kagaya yung example ko kanina is a person's handwriting the same when he writes a certain symbol or writes on a certain document na kung saan merong pressure sa kanya or pinipwersa siyang pumirma or sumulat. Yan, is there any kind of difference? Yan, handwriting and signature comparisons. So you need more than two. You need more than two copies or yung tinatawag na exemplars. And you need to try to compare those. Are there changes sa slanting? May changes ba sa yung level ng ink or yung pressure ng ink towards the paper? Ayan. Also, yung detections ng changes sa isang document. Yan. Meron bang dinagdag na siguro symbol? Yan. Meron bang alterations? Meron bang binawasan sa isang symbol sa document? Deletions? Or merong substitution? Yan. Pinalitan. Imbis na 9, naging 5. Or alterations, imbis naging 5, or imbis na 5, naging 9. Yan. Detecting those by virtue of yung inks. Yan. Also, sa QD or sa question document examination, it also tries to answer the problem with regards to mechanical and electronic impressions. So sa mechanical and electronic impression comparisons, it's that it does not only examine yung mismong handwriting, but also yung mga electronic na mga symbols which are on a document. Okay? And also, Also, yung detection ng counterfeit, especially money. Kasama din yung counterfeit detection, especially sa money. Kasi of course, there will be individuals who will try to falsify or i-counterfeit yung banknotes ng isang bansa. So those are just some examinations being done sa question document examination. Also included in the tests or examinations being done is to determine the age of documents. Yan. Basically the paper. Yan. Kung gaano ba na ba katagal yung papel at gaano na ba katagal yung document or yung symbols that are on the paper. Also, kasali din yung ink and paper comparison. Ink and paper comparison yan to the point na kung meron ba siyang pinirmahan na parehong document with different inks, magkakaroon ba ng difference sa kanyang handwriting or sa stroke ng kanyang mga pirma or kanyang sulat, and also the difference ng paper, especially sa counterfeit money. There are differences between paper being used ng, for example, ng central bank to create banknotes and yung papel na ginagamit ng mga counterfeiters. Yan, may kaibahan talaga yan. Not just the paper but also yung mga unique characteristics, security features ng banknotes na ginagawa ng central bank. Yan, o yung Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Also, the examination of water-soaked, charred, o yung sunog na stained or torn documents. That's one of the subfields sa question document examination na kung saan nagkakaroon ng challenge for those document examiners. Yan. Because as we all know, there are some types of paper na once mabasa, of course, yung mga contents, mga symbols, mga letters, madidistort. The same goes with stained paper. And once yung ink masabuyan or would be affected by the stain, visually, hindi makikita. Also, sa question document examination, the determination of sequence of entry. Yan. For example, may pinirmahan kang logbook. Madidetermine yan ng mga examiners through ink details kung sino sa mga entries doon or alin sa mga entries na yon ang una o yung pinakahuling sumulat. Yan. Or yung sequence nila. Sino bang nauna, sinong pangalawa, so on and so forth. Also, it tries to determine from a document which symbols or which content of the document are considered intentionally done or accidentally done. Yan, yung mga hindi sinasadya or yung mismong sinadya. And also lastly, one of the examinations being done sa QD, decipherment of obliterated text. What if the text is visually hindi makikita? How would we decipher that secret behind that obliterated text. Okay? So, sa question document examination, yan yung mga tinatry na i-examine, the questions with those. And the documents being examined sa question document examination, who might be giving a question sa kanyang integrity or method ng production includes the following. Yan. Last wills and testaments, bank checks, resibo sa credit card or debit card, business contracts, yan, contracts of incorporation, marriage contracts, yan, what if yung marriage contract ginawa lang sa tabi-tabi. Birth certificates, yan, most commonly. Ito, together with insurance applications and agreements, are one of the most common. Yan, deeds of sale, deeds of transfers, deeds of yung land titles, insurance applications, yan, or agreements between one person or one entity to another. Yan, also, for certain circumstances, yan, meron yung mga anonymous letters na meron palang threats. Well, most of them are done through handwriting. Also, it also includes yung suicide notes. Yan. There are certain events or sabihin natin mga suspected crimes na nire-respondehan ng SOCO or ng kapulisan, which it is basically suicide. Meron nang namatay, meron na doon yung body of the crime, yung corpus delicti, pero may suicide note. Yan. Sa question document examination, itong suicide notes are presumed to be not original. Pinipresume yan ng mga examiners na hindi ito original. And it's up to the document if yung note na nakita sa crime scene is legitimate or hindi talaga siya totoo. Finrame up yung victim. Because there are some other suicide incidents na kung saan yung suicide note na nasa tabi ng biktima is not done by him. So how would it be detected? Yan, it would be answered. Okay, also test and examinations. Yan, during the time na nagkaklase pa kayo live, hindi pa via satellite, 'di ba? Yung mga test examinations, specifically yung mga high profile examinations, yan, like board exams, bar exams, yan, and other government exams. What if merong leakage? So in the investigation of it, kasama yung question document examination. Are the entries sa document legitimately done or merong kaduda-dudang mga alterations, deletions, or obliterations? Yan. Also, medical charts. There are instances sa medical field na kung saan yung operation na ginawa ng mga doktor naging failure and it resulted to the death ng patient. But there are also some other doctors who try to alter the entry sa medical charts. Kasi most commonly, handwritten yan ng mga doktor. And of course, yung handwritten ng doktor medyo kakaiba. So in order to save them and their profession, pati yung kanilang hospital, they will try to alter the result sa medical certificate or sa death certificate in order for them not to be subjected to any other proceedings, which sa kanilang case would be detrimental. Also, diaries, agendas, and appointment books. Yan. One thing that it is commonly being questioned, especially sa mga civil lawsuits, yan. Yung mga minutes sa meeting, appointment books, log books, yan. So, it is also being examined which of those entries sa logbooks ang nauna, or are the entries in the logbooks being done by different people or just one person. Yan. And also legal files. Yan. Court decisions, mga affidavits, yan, court information, pirma ng judge, or even the seal of the court. Tinitingnan yan kung authentic or hindi. Okay, let's proceed next. So, sa Philippine National Police, meron tayong, I think, around 13 National Operational Support Units, or NOSUs, mga NOSU, which are basically nationwide in scope. Yan. Part of, or one of those National Operational Support Units ng PNP is yung CLG, or yung Crime Laboratory Group. Yan. So, as we all know, it is the PNP Crime Laboratory, yung SOCO. But SOCO is just one division or part lang ng Crime Laboratory. As you can see sa logo ng Crime Laboratory, meron yang 8 na rays. Yan. So, it represents the 8 fields of sciences na ino-offer ng Crime Laboratory Group. One of those is yung question document examination. So, of course, it's part of the QDED, yung QD examination division, which, as you can see there, part ng kanilang goal is to know the truth by virtue of scientific procedures in order to examine question documents. Yan, whether they are true or not, or whether they belong to one person or another. Okay? So, malawak ang kanilang function. Of course, they have good and even modern equipment. And of course, yung kanilang mga personnel, well-trained, not just here but also out of the country. So, sa QD ng PNP Crime Lab, meron silang mga question documents na in-examine. So, for example, yan, handwriting examination. Yan. They try to know anong style ng pagsusulat ng letters at numbers or any other symbols ng isang individual. Maybe that individual is a victim or the perpetrator. Yan. And of course, yung kanilang handwriting towards the mediums or yung papel. Yan. Baga ba ang gigamit na ink? Or baga jud ang style sa pagsulat sa isa ka individual towards a certain type of paper? Yan. Imprint examination. Just imagine, di ba? Pag bumili ka sa supermarket, di ba ini-issuean ka ng resibo? Yan. At di ba nakikita nyo yung color ng resibo or yung mga imprints ng resibo, computer generated. Yan, may unique na font style. Pero di ba nakikita nyo, it is either purely itim or may somewhat lavender color. Yan, or violet color. Yan. Also, sa imprint examination, kasama na rin dyan yung mga stamps. whether it's rubber stamps, yan, daughter stamps, or yung imprintable na stamps. Yan. Like for example, sa korte, kakaiba yung stamp nila. It really imprints or yung tinatawag na ini-emboss sa mismong papel. Yan. The same goes with rubber stamps. Yan, yung gumagamit ng ink na violet pen or lavender. Yan. Also sa imprint examination, mechanical devices. Hindi lang yung mga manual devices na sinabi ko, yung mga stamps, pati na rin yung typewriters, check writers, pati na rin yung tinatawag na POS, yung point of sales, yung ginagamit sa supermarket, yung nagpiprint ng resibo. Ayan, printing devices. That's part of it. Yan, sa cash register, di ba? Or even yung sa DTR, yung time register sa mga kumpanya. Yan, chine-check yan. Once it could have an effect to a certain crime. Yan. Of course, counterfeit money. Ayaw ng isang bansa na yung kanyang pera na iniimprinta would be copied by people. Because pwede yan maging rason na bumaba yung ekonomiya. Could be an effect in which pwede yung mga taong nagka-counterfeit ng money makabili ng kanilang mga gustong bilhin, which is illegal. Yan. Also, writing media examination. Ano yung types of ink? Ano kind ng papel? Yan, na ginagamit in order to write a symbol or to write in a document. Yan. Also, yung graphical dating. Yan. To determine the age of a paper or the ink. And of course, falsification and alteration of documents, faded or obscured writings. When we say obscured, hidden, yung somewhat hindi makikita visually. Also included, paper characteristics. Yan. Ano ang magiging characteristic ng isang brand at type ng papel once na mabutasan siya ng isang stapler? Yan. Ano ang direction yung tinatawag na perforation? Yan. When we say perforation, mao na tong penetrating na yung effect ng isang penetration towards a certain medium na tong buslot, tong characteristic sa buslot sa papel na or cuts. What would be the default direction ng isang kanang gisi sa papel na unsay characteristic sa isa ka papel once magisi. So it's also being examined sa crime lab. Also included din sa question documents examination, yung other documents. Yan. Laminations, pati na rin yung mga documents, yung mga writings even done sa walls or even artworks. Yan. They try to decipher the truth behind it. And of course, because they are experts in their field, they are key once they attend to court proceedings. Of course, kung ang question sa isang kaso is basically about a document, they would attend because yan yung mandato nila, attend to court duties and try to explain in a court of law the procedures they used and yung findings or conclusion nila. And of course, their conclusion should not be yung leading, which means hindi na pwedeng ilihis yung kanilang statement and would be only limited to the scientific facts they have found out. Okay? So, itong sunod, hindi ko na lang yan i-discuss because those are just some of their fees. Pero actually, bumabago yung fees. Okay? Yan. So, yung taong nag-examine, commonly the law enforcer, yan, is yung forensic document examiner. Yan yung tawag sa kanya. Yan, o yung QD examiner. So, because they use a certain type of procedure, they use hypothesis and conclusions. Yan, that's a scientific process. They are somewhat considered forensic scientists or specialists in their field. Yan. They refer to persons who study all aspects of a document to determine its authenticity or whether it is falsified or not. Also, pati na yung origin, style of handwriting, pati yung reproduction ng isang document. Okay? So, the thing with QD examiners, yan yung forensic document examiner, hindi sila sumasama sa mga crime scene searches. They do not conduct crime scene searches. Hindi sila sumasama sa SOCO team, yung nasa field, yung nakikita. Because majority of their duties, aside from court duties, is yung analysis sa laboratory. Because basically, yung kanilang expertise is toward the document or yung documents. So, being their job, not really involving yung pagpunta talaga sa mga scenes, yung face-to-face encounters with the people involved is not needed. Not really needed for them. Hindi na nila trabaho na mag face-to-face pa. They would try to decipher yung ugali or such other considerations between the witnesses, the victims, and the suspects. Because they are just limited to the scientific process in answering the truth behind those questioned documents. So for short, laboratory investigators lang to sila. Okay? They do not go out with the SOCO team. They do not conduct face-to-face investigations because they are just bound for laboratory investigations. Laboratory examinations ginagawa nila. So mostly nasa office niya, medyo hayahay. Not really physically challenging, pero basically one key element sa solving ng certain crimes, whether they are civil, criminal, or administrative cases. So, from a QD examiner, meron yan silang mga scopes and limitations. Kung asa na sila kutob na until where or hanggang saan lang sila limited. Yan. So, part of their scope of expertise are the following. Yan. Recognizing genuineness, yan, or whether it's falsified or not. Color tone of papers, characteristic of papers and inks. Yan. And other substances na kung saan pwede masulatan. Yan. Revelation of certain characteristics sa documents, whether they are altered, substituted, or obliterated. And one of the hardest part ng kanilang field of science is yung restoration ng mga erased, obliterated, or yung damaged na mga documents or yung handwriting na virtually hindi ma-decipher. Yan. But with the use of trainings, with the use of techniques and equipment, they might decipher those obliterated or damaged writings. So, of course, question document examiners uses scientific methods to support their mandate. And of course, these examiners are specialized, especially sa kanilang training before they would be brought up to the real world exercise. So at least 6 months tina-train sila aside from the basic training ng isang pulis. Yan. Kung, kung ikaw ay interesado, basically it is an application sa crime laboratory group sa national mismo. Then after the basic training, pati yung tinatawag nilang BISOC, you will be able to choose sa crime laboratory group asan sa mga fields of expertise gusto mo pumunta or gusto mo mahasa. So for example, dito sa QD Examination Division, 6 months yung specialization training. Yan. After that, you have the option to advance your training or you advance your knowledge, whether locally or internationally. Okay? So, yan yung benefits. So, those are the um, part of the training, part ng mandate ng isang QD examiner sa PNP Crime Laboratory Group. So next, we will be discussing about the 10 commandments ng questioned document experts or nung QD examiner. Okay? So, let's start one by one. Okay, first, question document experts must render their unprejudiced professional service in the view of justice. To put it simply, dapat ang mga QD examiners, upon facing a question document or yung mga documents, impartial. Walay ginadapigan. And once they finish the laboratory examination or yung examination mismo, upon testifying in court, they must be impartial and would only base their statements, yung kanilang mga statements, limited only to the findings or conclusions sa laboratory examination. They would only be testifying to the facts and findings that were done during the examination they have conducted. So, they must be unprejudiced or impartial. Kasi yan naman yung kanilang panunumpa that in order to know the truth, yan, in order to successfully give justice, they must be impartial and unprejudiced, pati na rin yung kanilang mga sasabihin or mga statements nila, especially upon oath sa korte during a trial, must be limited to their findings only. Next, question document experts should be rendered in behalf of the client. Yung kanilang profession, dapat binibigay nila ng fully sa kanilang ginagawa. Yan. So, kung sino man yung mga client ng isang QD examiner, because he is unprejudiced and impartial, yung kanyang profession is always being carried. di ba? So when you are in a profession, you take an oath that when you practice your profession, you must do it with all your best. Yan. So sa mga QD examiners, yung kanilang interest is on the document and of course, the clients. Yan. Which is, yung kliyente ng QD examiner kung nasa law enforcement, yung public ang nagiging kliyente, yung publiko. Because the public expects you to do your duty. At yung duty mo ay para sa bayan mo. That's why you need to be impartial and you must take note of your clients, which is the public. Sunod, question document experts should keep the examination professionally. At dapat yung kanilang mga ginagawa during the examination is done on the highest level. They must be very professional and conscientious. Yan. In being professional and conscientious during the practice or within the practice, kailangan yung careful analysis at yung tamang pag-iisip. Because the findings that would come out of that examination is key in determining whether a certain document is the true one or yung nagbibigay ng katotohanan or hindi. Question document experts should not be influenced by circumstantial evidence, preconceived ideas, or testimony ng ibang tao. Because when an expert witness testifies in court, yan, kasama dyan yung mga question document examiners. So when they give a statement or when they are put sa witness stand sa korte, they are only limited to the facts and conclusions na meron sila after the laboratory examination at yung kanilang mga statements hindi pwedeng masway or dili pwede maapekto tungod sa mga testimonya sa ubang mga involved individuals or even other pieces of evidence. They must stick with their findings because their findings might give justice to the questioned document which is nasa court. And to say it simply, the QD experts must stick to their guns. Pasabot ana, bisag unsa pa ang outcome sa ubang mga ebidensya, bisan unsa pa mang testimonya ihatag sa uban, as long as they stick with their findings, then it will bring them to justice. Yan. For example, kung sa basketball, may kasabihan, ball don't lie. The same goes with QD examination. The document does not lie. It can be altered, but once a laboratory examination is already done, at yung findings doon does not lie. Next, question document experts should initially take a case for preliminary examination only. Yan. So, conduct examinations, but is considered preliminary. Yan. Kasi yung ibang arrangements niyan would be made after the result ng preliminary investigation. So, ilagi hapong kinahanglan mo guide or makaguide gihapon sila from the preliminary investigation. Yan, kumukuha sila ng signal from the PI from preliminary investigation. They could have a full-blown examination after the result of that prelim. Okay? Also, another of those 10 commandments, QD experts should always have a pre-trial conference with the lawyer. Yan, lawyer nung victim, lawyer nung offender, which of course yung pre-trial conference na gagawin nila is based upon the result nung preliminary examination na ginawa niya. And in order to orient them na ito, yan yung resulta. Yan. And of course, both sides, the respondent, pati na rin yung sa victim, kailangan na marinig nila yung resulta ng prelim examination. Because they both have the right for it. And because they have lawyers who are their representatives, they could easily translate it into court. Pwede silang makagawa ng kanilang mga options which are legally done. Kasi pareho silang nandun sa pre-trial conference. And kung ikaw ang QD examiner or yung QD expert, you must stick with the result of your laboratory or yung preliminary examination mo sa laboratory. Next, QD experts should examine the original document and insist upon authentic standards for comparison. Yan, yung tinatawag natin na example nyon o yung mismong authentic document is yung standard. Yan, for example, sa signature, your goal is to know if a certain signature is authentic or not. So, saan ka kukuha nung authentic na sample? Of course, ang tawag ng sample na yan, the standard. So, you need that standard in order to determine if another signature is authentic or not. That is yung comparison. Yan. So, the opinion, kasi yung mga expert witness upon testifying in court, ang tawag ng sasabihin nila, yan, statement, pero expert opinion yan. Yan. Even during the pre-trial conference, even during the preliminary examination, yung kanilang laboratory results, yung findings nila, dinadagdagan nila nung expert opinion, which is based on the findings. Yan. So, dapat yung kanilang expert opinion should be conditional. Yan. So, it is based on facts. Next, QD experts should prepare photo enlargement exhibits kasi merong mga certain documents that were written na kung saan hindi siya nakikita completely with the naked eye. So, they try to enlarge those standards, pati yung mga documents in order for the judge and other players, yung mga involved, yan, yung abogado, the witness, yan, pati yung respondent, kailangan na makita, yan, in due fairness during court proceedings. Yan, and of course, comparison charts. In order for them to properly explain kay judge na ito yung findings namin and kinakailangan na kinompare namin towards an original to a falsified example or falsified na exemplars. Yan. In order to demonstrate also to the court, sa harap ng mga tao, paano nila ginawa yung kanilang examination at kung ano yung findings ng kanilang preliminary examination. Next, question document experts should never underestimate the ability ng opposing party, yan, or yung respondent. Because just like any other battle, yung adversary o yung kalaban, yan, they have the possibility of overturning your findings. Yan. So, hindi pwedeng maging complacent si QD examiner. Because even if you are with the prosecution, kasi you are with the government, your examination can be questioned further. And if they see a loophole o yung medyo may kakaunting mga discrepancy sa yung examination, they could use that against you in a court of law. Yan. So, do not be complacent. Yan yung uh, simplified na lesson for this uh, commandment. And also the last, question document experts must maintain an ethical conduct of practice. Yan. So, every time that a QD examiner goes to work, and of course, commonly magiging police officer yan. The moment you wear that uniform, the moment you practice the profession, your specialization, you must treat yourself, you must treat the profession and the organization with utmost respect. Yan. And of course, when doing your job, hindi mo na kinakailangan na tumanggap pa ng ibang compensation. Yan. Or any other extra service. Yan. Because first and foremost, it's a violation of law. Violation yan ng ethical standards ng public officials and employees. Di ba? RA 6713. Also, it is unethical sa profession ng question document examination na law enforcer ka pero nagmo-moonlight ka or sumasideline ka, which is against the interest of public service. And lastly, you must treat every document you handle with respect. Because if you don't do that, the document might be damaged. The document might not show its real outcomes. Hindi may papakita ng document yung ano ba talaga ang katotohanan. So you must treat and maintain ethical conduct, ethical standards upon practicing your profession, especially kung nasa law enforcement ka and you're a question document examiner. Yan, respeto sa profesyon, respeto sa ginagawa, at respeto sa organisasyon na kinabibilangan mo. Okay, so my next discussion will be about those key terms. Yan. Key terms tayo ulit. Document is any material that contains marks or symbols, whether visible sila, invisible, or partial lang. Yan. Itong document, hindi yan yung papel. In legal definition, a document is any symbol, any mark, yan, including numbers, that convey a meaning. Yan. They convey a meaning or message to another person. Yan yung document. So, for example, may hawak akong birth certificate. The document is not the paper itself, but the contents of that paper. Yung mga symbols, yung mga writings nandun. Diba? May header pa yan. Diba? Republic of the Philippines, National Statistics Office. Diba? Pati na rin yung contents ng birth certificate. Yan, yung letters, yung symbols. Kasi yun yung natatranslate na understand ng tao. Diba? You cannot call it a document kung mismong papel. What if that uh, paper does not have any mark? does not have any symbol in it. So it's basically plain paper. Nagiging autoptic or real evidence lang yan siya. So once the paper has symbols, markings, or any other content which can be visible or invisible or partially lang, the contents are the document. And simply, yung contents na yon, when you put it in court, is the documentary evidence. So which of the following are yung tinatawag na question document? Ulitin ko, question document, one in which a document in its entirely or in part is subject to a question as to its authenticity or yung origin. Diba? Question. May pagdududa. At yung pagdududang yun, rooting or nagsisimula sa pinanggalingan yun or kung authentic ba yun, totoo ba yun or hindi. Okay? So, yung contents yun. Yan. Part ng question document, yan. Signature, handwriting, the typewriting, or yung marks doon. So, which are those writings which do not constitute a document? Yan. So, we'll base it legally. Okay? Please take note. Yan. One example of it is a draft of a municipal payroll na hindi pa na-approve ng authority. Yan. That's a public document. Yan. Tungod na ay freedom of information sa government, most government documents, yan, are shared with a number of people, shared to the public. Kaya nagiging public document. Yan. Kung hindi pa na-approve ang payroll, bakit magiging legal document yan? Bakit magiging public document yan? Hindi pa yan pinipirmahan ng kaukulang otoridad. Yan. Based on People versus Camacho, yan. SCRA yan. Supreme Court reports annotated. Okay? Ito na naman, the next is mere blank form ng official documents or yung spaces na hindi pa na-fill up, hindi pa yan siya masasabing document. Yan, kasi wala pang contents. Kumbaga, merely a template lang. Okay? Next, pamphlets or books which do not evidence any disposition or agreement and are not documents but are mere merchandise. According kay People versus Agnes, yung mga pamphlets, mga libro na walang agreement, walang disposition, o yung mismong merchandise lang ang touring, they're not considered documents legally. Okay? So, please take note of the following. Yung mga nandyan, those are legal basis. Kasi sa law, one part of the sources of law are those previous judgments. Yan, whether sa Supreme Court or sa Court of Appeals, yan, or any other court. Yan. Yun ang ginagawang basehan or sources of law. So let's go to the classifications of a questioned document. So generally, meron yang 8. Yan. Document with question signature, document with alleged fraudulent alteration. Yan. Yan. Questioned ang document dahil sa material na ginamit, whether the ink or the paper, yan, or the pencil. Document questioned as to its age or date. Not just the ink, but also the material. Kailan ba siya na-execute? Sino ba ang manufacturer ng ink, ng papel, at yung sequence ng pagsusulat. Saan ba dun sa document ang unang na-fill up? Yan. Even the specific date could not be determined, but yung approximation yun pwede. And of course, it's done through a chemical process. We call that the chemical analysis of a question document. Sunod, holographic documents. When we say holographic document, it is a document na completely written, prepared, and napirmahan na ng tao, pero walang assistance ng kahit anong individual. Yan. Yung mismong freehand lang na ginawa niya. Yan. Yung voluntarily ginawa niya without any influence. You call that a holographic document. Another classification of the question document are those documents questioned as to its typewriting. So, please take note sa typewriters, meron yang mga different characteristics, different types. Okay, first, yung Pika. Yan, it's a font style characterized by 10 letters per inch. Yan. Yung spacing ng letters, ito yon, Pika. Sunod, yung Elite. This type of typewriter spacing o yung lettering sa typewriter, yan, characterized by 12 letters per inch. Meron naman sa ibang mediums yung tinatawag na teletype. Yan. 6 letters per inch. Yan. And of course, yung specialized na klase, yung special type, is characterized by 14 to 16 letters per inch. Okay? So, yan yung mas maliit. Itong teletype, ginagamit ito nung sa mga news networks. Yan. Habang nagre-report yung mga news anchors, meron silang ginagana teletype prompter. So, yung teletype prompter, whether digital yan siya or yung luma, 6 letters per inch ang characteristics ng mga fonts o yung mga letters at symbols. Okay, another classification of a question document, those documents which may identify some person through handwriting. Yan, anonymous letters, poison letters, yung mga death threats. Yan, noon, letter ang ginagamit. Ngayon, pwede na online. Ransom demands, and those other similar documents. And of course, part of those classifications, those genuine documents na nagkaroon ng certain mistakes or yung fraudulently attacked. Yan, executed in an abnormal writing condition by the writer or by any other writing which is not really normal. Yan. For example, nagsusulat siya ng isang form habang sabihin natin habang nagta-travel. Yan. While gumagalaw yung sasakyan, nagsusulat siya. So it would really have that errors sa kanyang writing, hindi magiging consistent because of the movement of the vehicle. Yan. Also included, yan, old age. Older people would have more tremors in their writing compared to, of course, yung mga younger individuals. Tremors or yung common na tremor is also termed as yung shaking ng hands. Yan. So, yung tremors are not just only limited to old age. There are tremors also which could be determined because merong tinatawag na fatigue. there is a fatigue upon the writer. Yan. Siguro napapagod na yung kamay niya sa kakasulat. So, nag-iba na yung direction or yung slanting ng kanyang writing. Or nagkaroon ng tremor sa kanyang pagsusulat dahil under pressure siya ng yung external forces. Sabihin natin, merong taong nag intimidate sa kanya na pumirma or mag-execute ng isang document. So, tremors can be visible upon that writing. Okay? So, lahat ng tremors, they are diversions or yung nag-iiba from normal handwriting. Also, we have standard document, a condensed and compact set of authentic specimen which is adequate and proper. Yan. So, marami ang characteristics. May cross-section, may material form, and of course, itong standards. Yan. Standard document or standards. Sila yung basehan for the identification of a question document. Diba? Itong standard documents, yan yung original. Okay? Yan yung original. Sabihin natin signature. Sabihin natin ito yung signature ko. Let's say that is the original signature. In order for it to be completely standard, ang ginagawa niyan, even sa banks or even legally, at least 3. Diba? Meron na yung tremor. Yan. At least 3 from the same source. And then, they would compare it to a questioned document na merong questioned na pirma. Do they have the same strokes? Yan. Do they use the same ink? Yan. Lahat ng yan madedetermine from a standard. Yan yung original. So, okay, next, we'll proceed with ito, intro to graphology. Yan. So, yan yung graphology, yung sinasabi ko. By the use of the strokes done by a writer, madedetermine dyan yung somewhat the attitude and characteristics of the writer. Okay, so it is part of document examination. It also reveals how the writer is prepared or how the writer is positioning his hands. Yan. So, sa graphology, it can determine the personality or yung personal characteristics ng isang writer through handwriting. So, andyan yun. Okay? So, even yung frustration, yan, jealousy, and other personality types, pwede madedetermine through handwriting. Yan, ang tawag dyan, graphology. Yan, so yung scopes of expertise, nasabi ko na kanina, it is reiterated there. Yan. Of course, meron tayong dual objectives to discover and prove the facts that are given in a certain case or a certain question document. Yan. not just to discover and prove the facts, but also to relay them, especially upon court procedures. Yan, court proceedings pala. Okay? So, those are the dual objectives or of a forensic document examiner. And also, dapat yung forensic document examiner must have the following traits. Yan. First, yung judgment na ginagamit ng isang examiner is not just accurate yung kanyang mga facts, but also having a fair judgment. Yan, patas siya in the name of justice. And of course, yung facts na nanggaling sa kanyang examination, coming from the preliminary examination, would be accurately relayed and presented sa korte. And of course, regardless of the situation, regardless of the case at hand, the document examiner must be courageous enough in order to fight for what is right. Okay, so as you can see, that is the service paradigm of a question document examination based from the timetable na binigay ng PNP Crime Laboratory Group. Yan, under the QD Examination Division. Yan, court litigations ang mauuna. It means, kailangan ng request. Yan. And of course, there must be an initial findings or yung probable cause before the case would be filed and successfully charged in court. And then si QD examiner, siya yung magko-conduct ng examination, siya din yung magse-certify at testify sa resulta ng laboratory examination in which yung findings ng examination, iti-testify niya sa court at yung expert opinion limited to his expertise and knowledge, yun yung maibabahagi niya doon. Of course, the legal counsel, he will be the one to present and qualify the examiners or yung mga expert witnesses in court. And not only that, he will try to qualify also yung expert opinion na binibigay ni QD examiner once he is under the witness stand. Yan. And of course, the job of the court as the presider during trial, si judge would be able to rebut or reject the evidence, and of course, he could also appreciate the evidence which is presented and exhibited in court. So on the next meeting, we will be discussing about yung historical background pati mga key personalities sa question document examination. So basically yung history nila. As you can see, it is already um, presented in order. So next time you need to take note of those um, orders. Okay, so once again, thank you for listening and hope that you could continue to read your modules and the presentations that were presented in the LMS. So thank you once again and God bless.